Welcome, everyone. My name is Juniper. I'm the managing producer for Feldenkrais Access, and I'm so happy to be here with you all for the first class of this new series with David Zemach-Bersin, Choosing Resilience. We are also joined today by Anastasi Siotis. Anastasi is a Feldenkrais trainer candidate joining us from Manhattan. If you have any questions or confusion or need some help during the lesson, you can reach out to Anastasi. You can send a message if you're in Zoom through the chat in Zoom. And if you're joining from another platform, even if it's from the recording, you can send a message there and we will answer your question as soon as possible. We're also joined today by Nadia Genois, who is a Feldenkrais practitioner joining us from Montreal. Nadia will be doing the lesson in a chair. So if you need to translate the lesson into a seated position for whatever reason, you can see how Nadia is engaging with the instructions. I'll be spotlighting her periodically throughout the course of the lesson as David moves through the lesson. So if you need to reference what she's doing to help you translate into a seated position, that could be helpful for you. And if you need to see her more often, please don't hesitate to let me know. Again, by sending a message into the chat if you're in Zoom or by whatever platform you're on. And even if it's in the recording, if I didn't show Nadia enough, it's always helpful to hear that feedback. And we'll also be spotlighting our team of Feldenkrais practitioners who are doing the lesson along with you as instructed, and they will provide a general visual guide as David offers the lesson today. And if you have your camera turned on, if you're in Zoom, it would be really helpful for both David and Anastasi to be able to see you. So rather than having your camera tilted up toward the ceiling or something, if you could have it so that your whole self is in view, that's super helpful. And then if you wish not to be seen, if you just press the stop video option in the Zoom menu, that helps David see those who do have the camera turned on themselves. Okay, and that's it from me. I'll hand you over to David.
Thank you, Juniper. My name is David Zemach-Bersin, and this is the first class in our new Feldenkrais Access 8-class series, Choosing Resilience, Feldenkrais exercises for neurological health and stress relief. In this series, my intention is to share Feldenkrais lessons with you that are specifically designed to help you develop your own sense of resilience and provide you with the skills you need to survive during stressful times. I've been a Feldenkrais teacher for nearly 50 years. And in that time, I've spent much of those years studying the ways in which our nervous system adapts to stress and trauma. In other words, how our nervous system lives in our body, responds to stress and trauma, and especially how to bring, this is the critical thing, how to bring your nervous system back into a harmonious state. In other words, a nervous system that is under stress has certain common denominators between you and another person anywhere in the world. Under stress, under trauma, there are certain common qualities of the nervous system. They are predictable. For those who are here for the very first time, I'd like to share just a few words about myself. It'll be the only time I really do that. I studied directly with Dr. Feldenkrais for 10 years. Before the pandemic, my two primary activities were the training of new Feldenkrais teachers and a private practice, a very active private practice, seeing people from the public. But a few months after the beginning of the pandemic, with the help of some people who, I think the best way to say it, supported my perspective and my teaching, we moved online, and it's been very rewarding to offer the benefits of Dr. Feldenkrais's insights to the public, and we're still doing it today. Now, there are times when life is challenging for each of us. We have times of calm and growth, and we have other times of difficulty, of stress, of challenges. Often we cannot change the circumstances or the facts of our stress or trauma, but we can help ourselves to survive and indeed to recover from these difficult times. We can help ourselves to minimize or reduce the effects of these experiences. So that's a very, very important point, which I'd like to underscore, because this is a very good thing to know, that your nervous system already has a resilience. Your nervous system has the capability to change and improve. In fact, you could say that it's essential to be able to access our nervous system and to restore the balance. In other words, whether our nervous system is tilted towards stress or towards restoration. We're not born, unfortunately, the rub is that we're not born with the skill of being able to control the state of our nervous system. And especially sustained stress is very difficult. We are really not taught the skills that we need for how to deal with sustained stress. But that doesn't mean that we can't learn how to rebalance our nervous system, how to bring our body into a more restorative, healthier state. Our brain is plastic, meaning it can learn and change. Our brain is attracted. This is especially important. Your brain is attracted to things that help you to feel better. Our nervous system works as an integrated whole, and it affects many aspects, as most of you probably know. It affects many aspects of our health, our physiology, meaning, for example, our heart, our digestion, our sleep. The stress affects our well-being, affects our emotional state. So it makes sense for you to understand it and to know what you can do to help yourself. So this is exactly what I propose to bring to you in this series. The Feldenkrais method is a phenomenal resource for exactly this. The Feldenkrais method works by engaging your brain in a neutral, comfortable way, pleasurable way. It's easy to use, and it can begin to make a significant difference right away. Now, the goal of a Feldenkrais lesson is to facilitate the communication of useful neurological information between your brain and your body. Communication of this sort is, of course, going on all the time. But you'll see that with awareness, Feldenkrais lessons can have the ability to guide your nervous system, to shape your experience in a way that benefits you. I've been doing this for a long time. I can say without any doubt, it is possible to feel differently, to respond in new ways to familiar stressors or triggers. In other words, to change your most familiar, long-standing habits. I promise that this series will help you to identify your own personal bodily responses to stress. We will help you to get out of these responses and to reliably find your way back to a calm, safe harbor. Now, just a few words for those who have never done a Feldenkrais lesson before. Feldenkrais lessons work in a very different way than conventional exercise. We call these movement experiences lessons. Why? Because your brain is learning something beneficial when you do them. By combining gentle, neurologically relevant movements with a process of attention to our own experience, our own sensory experience, Feldenkrais lessons access and stimulate the flexible neuroplastic capacities of your brain. You can create. So in this lesson today, you can advantage the lesson that we do by creating the conditions for your own success and learning. How to do that? You do the movement slowly. You only do what's easy and comfortable for you. You avoid pain and discomfort. That's going to be a very important element for many of you. By making each movement small and by pausing or resting between each movement, and I'll be reminding you of these guidelines, hallmarks of doing a lesson, you will increase the potential of the lesson to benefit you. So your job is simply to attend to your experience. If you have the slightest bit of pain or discomfort, I urge you to avoid doing anything that irritates you. Just make all of your movements very slow and very small, and you'll see that those small movements done slowly will provoke the learning centers of your brain. All right, so let's get to it. If you need any help at all, have any questions, please access our staff. You can reach out to them through the chat function, and you'll see that our volunteers are providing you, and I'm very grateful to them, they're providing you with a visual guide for doing the lesson. In general, there is no need to look at your screen unless, of course, you don't understand, something's confusing about my directions. Please lie on your back. And thank you very much. We're going to do today's lesson primarily lying on our back. So you'll need room to your right and to your left. You need enough room that you can stretch out your legs while we rest. And you'll need a bit of room to your right and to your left so that we will be making very small movements, turning right and left. Now, please, once you've organized yourself for comfort, your comfort, please take a moment to simply sense and feel your contact with the floor. And I will guide you in this. Your legs are long. And please observe the length of your right leg, the contact with the floor of your right heel, the length of your leg, the feeling of the top of your foot, your right foot, the sole of your right foot, and that little area above your right heel. And now slowly, just using your attention, move your attention up your right leg and alternating between what we might call internal contact with ourselves and external contact. So internal contact would be your feeling of pressure, the weight, the kinesthetic experience of the weight of your leg on the floor. And you can take that awareness all the way up to the back of your knee, and then from the back of your knee all the way to your right hip joint. And now do the same thing from the front of your right leg, meaning the part of your right leg that's facing the ceiling and the sides of your right leg. Just what's easy, only what's comfortable. That's it. And if you find that suddenly you're aware that your breathing has halted, and you just pause for a moment and reassert your breathing in an easy, simple way without judgment. And now you find that you reach your right hip joint, and you can feel where your right hip joint joins your pelvis, where your femur, your upper leg, joins your right side of your pelvis. And now do the same thing from your left side. In other words, your left foot, the sole of your left foot. That's right. And the top of your foot. And if there's anything that the slightest bit uncomfortable about having your legs long, well, you can just bend your knees easily. We don't want to do anything that causes us the slightest bit of distress. That's right. And now slowly you bring your attention, your sensory awareness, all the way up to your left hip joint. So remember, we have the front of the leg, the back of your leg, the sides of your leg. In other words, your left leg is three-dimensional. That's it. And now your lower back on your right side and your left side. Just what's easy, only what's comfortable. Now, notice something interesting. Would you say that the right side of your lower back is closer to the floor than the left side of your lower back? Or that somehow they're perfectly equal, symmetrical? If at any time you feel like you would like to be more comfortable by bending your knees, please feel welcome to do so. And now slowly move your attention, return your attention to your lower back and observe which side of your lower back would you say is closer to the floor or further away from the floor. You'll notice already that we're not trying to change anything. The desire to change interferes with the process of learning. I'll say it again. The desire to change interferes with our ability to learn. Oh, just feel. Would you say the right side of your lower back is closer to the floor or the left side of your lower back? And we're taking our time with this. We won't take so much time with it in subsequent lessons, but we're taking this substantial piece of time because this ability to sense and feel differences is very, very important. And now slowly move your attention up your spine. And feel which parts of your spine are touching the floor and which parts are not touching the floor. There's no, we're not, I don't mean to imply in any way that we have a preference, that we have a desire for things to be one way or another. So just observe yourself and slowly move your attention up your spine. That's right. And then you find in the middle of your back, your spine is touching the floor very clearly. And then as you work your attention upwards, you can feel that your spine is leaving the floor. In other words, arches away from the floor. That's right. And behind your neck, you can feel there's a gap there. There's room between the back of your neck and the floor. And this is as it should be for all of us. And now your left shoulder blade, just observe the contact of your left shoulder blade with the floor. That's it. And your right shoulder blade. And just observe, is there a difference? And I wouldn't worry about it. You feel a difference or you don't feel a difference. It's not required that you feel a difference. Good. And now your right arm and feel the contact with the floor of your right arm and of your left arm. That's right. Very good. Now, can you discern if one shoulder blade is higher or lower than the other? Most of us do have a difference between the way one shoulder blade is encountering the floor and our other shoulder blade. You feel this ability to make sensory distinctions is a very, very important function. The ability to feel differences. And now the length of your right arm compared to the length of your left arm. And for many of you, you might feel that one hand is lying differently on the floor than the other. That's right. All right. Thank you. Now, could you very slowly bend your right knee and stand your right foot on the floor? And now bend your left knee and stand your left foot on the floor. And bring your right knee towards your chest so that with your right hand, you can grasp your right knee from in front. And you bring all 5 fingers together. That's right. Relax your right shoulder. And now, as you exhale, as you make a small movement, exhaling, you move your right knee very slightly to the right, and then bring your right knee back. So it's not a large movement. It's easy. You just move your right knee to the right, and then you return. But you do it slowly, slowly, so that you can inhabit the experience of moving your right knee ever so slightly to the right. So very slowly. And already from that small movement, you can feel that the right side of the back of your pelvis makes contact with the floor behind you differently than the left side of your pelvis. See if you can exhale as you do that. And if you find anything uncomfortable or distracting, well, you can just stand your right foot, take a break for a moment, and then bring your right knee back to being toward your chest so that you can grasp your right knee with your right hand. That's it. And slowly, slowly move your right knee to the right. Now, certain things will begin to become evident to you, to everyone. For example, feel how the right side of your lower back moves closer to the floor. That's right. And see if you can feel that your left foot, your left heel, presses a little toward the floor. Now, I have a question for you. Is there a difference in the movement of your right knee to the right if you inhale or exhale? You feel, don't make up your mind right away, but have a curious, inquisitive attitude and feel that as you move your right knee a little to the right, it changes the relationship of the right side of your lower back to the floor, doesn't it? All right. Please rest and just keep your knees bent unless you feel that you must straighten your legs, in which case it's just fine. But see if you can observe a difference between the right side of your lower back and the left side. We just did a few movements, not more, or maybe 5, 6 movements. Bring your left knee toward your chest. That's right. And take your left hand to the left knee, just below your kneecap, all 5 fingers together. Relax your left arm, your left elbow, means that your left arm is heavy. And now move your left knee a little bit to the left. That's it. Now, there's hardly a person here where there isn't a difference between one side and the other. You feel that? Slowly, you move your left knee a little bit, only a little bit to the left. Feel how the contact of your right foot with the floor changes. You feel that as you move your left knee to the left, your entire relationship to the floor is challenged, and you can feel that something changes in the pressure of your right foot on the floor. It is one of the theses of our work is that small differences make a big difference. And here you feel, you move your left knee to the left, and you can feel something is different than when we move the right knee to the right. That's right. Relax your left arm, your left elbow. Do you think you can relax your face at all? I think so. Another premise that we have, and we have a lot of them, but we don't hide them, is that we are relatively unconscious of the ways in which we interfere with our intention, the ways in which we interfere, in which we make something simple difficult. That's it. See if you can relax your abdomen and your left elbow. That's right. You'll find that no matter where you look, no matter where you investigate yourself, there's a difference to be found. Very nice. Okay, please stop and just observe, is your lower back lying on the floor differently than the last time I asked you that question, which was after we made those movements to the right? Now, take your right knee with your right hand, just the way we've been doing. Good. And now, see if you can soften your eyes, meaning internally there's no strain. And if you can allow your eyes to go to the right as you take your right knee to the right, just slowly, as you move your right knee to the right, it's almost like you allow your eyes to drift to the right. That's it. As if your eyes were following an arc. That's it. And that arc is probably as far away as your ceiling. That's it. Good. And feel where you can soften your chest. And remember, a few minutes ago, I asked you if it makes a difference whether you inhale or exhale as you move your right knee to the right. So you try both ways. As if you don't have an answer. In other words, you haven't decided which way is easier or less easy. Beautiful. Please stand your right foot. Now, of course, the difference in these last few movements was the movement of our eyes. Not that we were doing something differently, but we were paying attention. So just observe. If you open your eyes, see if you can perceive a difference between the right side of your face and the left side of your face. You open your eyes and you'll feel one side of your face feels different from the other. In other words, when we pay attention to ourselves in an organized way, our nervous system, it's not just that we're paying attention, but that our whole self is sensing and feeling ourselves in a different way. Take your left knee. That's right, all 5 fingers together. And now go ahead slowly and take your left knee to the left as you move your eyes a little bit to the left. Of course, even when you were a matter of a few months old, you understood the difference between following the movement of your head with your eyes and not following the movement of your head. That's it. In other words, if you think of all the different functions that you did when you were a few months old, there was a necessity of coordinating your eyes with those movements of your pelvis and your back. And slowly move your eyes in an arc, say, as if you were looking at the ceiling in an arc to the left. Very good. Good. You can stop and rest. And so we've been doing this for, maybe 15 minutes, maybe. Would you already say, oh, I can feel a difference? I can feel a difference between how I was lying on the floor when we started. And now notice something else. Would you say that your breathing is different from when we started? Just feel the rising and the falling of your abdomen. Please bend one knee and then the other. And now do something very interesting, which is take your right knee as we've been doing. Maybe that feels a little easier to some of you. And slowly take your eyes to the left as you move your right knee to the right. So very slowly, you move only your eyes to the left. There is no need to make these movements more complex than they need to be, because I'm wanting to show you how primed your brain is for learning. And feel where you can relax your jaw. your throat. That's it. Can you feel that something is different in your neck if your eyes go to the left when your right knee goes to the right? And now move your eyes with your right knee, as if your eyes are following your knee. That's it. And I think you can probably feel a difference. What is the difference? That there's a difference between your eyes following your knee and your eyes moving in the opposite direction. And that's because, and I don't hold anything back from you informationally, and that's because your head turns most easily when your eyes and head turn together. And now turn your head and eyes to the right as you take your right knee to the right. And then you feel, well, that's kind of funny. Why did that movement of your right knee to the right improve? Can you feel something's different in your chest as well? I can see it. Your chest is moving a little more reciprocally with the movement of your head and eyes. All right, rest for a moment and feel one side of your lower back compared to the other. Observe the way your right shoulder blade's lying on the floor compared to your left. Grasp your left knee with your left hand and slowly move your left knee to the left and intentionally take your eyes to the left. Means that purposefully you're moving your eyes with intention to the left. That's it. And you exhale as you do that simple movement. Very nice. Good. Would you say that you feel the turning of your head in relationship to the floor a little more clearly than when we started? Good. Good. And please rest a moment. Do you see the difference is not one of that's rooted in what we're doing with our musculature. The difference is rooted in the way that our brain takes advantage of what we're doing, integrates, uses. Please bend your knees, stand your feet. And now bring your right hand to your right knee. Very nice. And now move your head and eyes ever so slightly to the right. And see if that changes the feeling, the ease of moving your right knee to the right. That's it. Good. And now see, as you do that, if you can turn your head to the left, can you turn your head in the opposite direction of your head? That's right. So your knee goes to the right as your head and eyes turn to the left. It's not so easy, but it's not so difficult either. That's it. And feel where you can reduce your effort, your arms, your chest. And now allow your head and eyes and knee to turn to the right together. And you'll find, something is different if everything is coordinated. Now, let's highlight something. You continue doing that, and you'll find that if you think of your left heel on the floor, you suddenly find that your right knee is going more easily to the right. That's right. Can you feel your spine, your entire spine from your sacrum to your neck is turning together? Together, meaning all the way up your spine is turning in almost a uniform way. All right. Please stop and please rest and stretch out your legs and just observe. Which side of your lower back would you say is lying closer to the floor? And can you feel something that I find the most interesting of all? That your shoulder blades are lying on the floor differently. All right, please slowly bend your knees. Take your left knee with your left hand, all 5 fingers together. That's right. And go ahead and allow your left knee to go to the left. That's it. And see if you can discern. If you can discern that the whole left side of yourself is going closer to the floor, and the whole right side of yourself is coming ever so slightly away from the floor. That's right. Feel where you can relax your chest, your rib cage. That's it. Maybe you can relax your mouth. Good. And now pay attention to the heel of your right foot. And just by moving your, what should we call it, your sensory appreciation to your right heel, does something change in the movement of your left knee? Not interesting? In other words, that right foot, the heel of your right foot, provides you with an essential connection to the movement of your left knee. That's it. Good. Please stop. Now you observe, is there a difference between how you're making contact with the floor now compared to when you started? Take your right knee with your right hand. That's it. Very nice. And now slowly, only what's easy, take your eyes to the left as you move your right knee to the right. Take your right knee to the right, as we've been doing, but take your eyes to the left. That's it. And relax your abdomen and your throat. That's it. And bring your attention back to your left heel. And take your right knee to the right as you take your eyes to the left. You're using your brain in an extremely clever way. And this stimulates the learning centers of your brain. So your left heel pushes against the floor. Your left knee stays toward the ceiling. That's it. Beautiful. Please stop. You can stretch out your legs if you like. Which side of your lower back would you say is closer to the floor? I asked that question not because the answer is obtuse or difficult, quite the contrary, but so that you can sense how little is necessary to make a difference. Bend your knees. That's right. Feet separated, shoulder width apart. Take your left knee to your left hand to your left knee. That's it. Good. And slowly, slowly take your left knee to the left. That's right. As you take your head and eyes to the right. That's it. Just do what's easy. In other words, we want to turn away from the idea of accomplishing more. That's it. And that turning of the head is still smooth and easy. That's right. And think of your right heel. You'll see if you allow your right heel to engage a little with the floor, something is different. Good. And now feel what happens if you turn your head and eyes to the right when you move your left knee to the left. That's it. Wonderful. But your head and your eyes go to the right. In other words, in the opposite direction of your knees. Good. You're doing great. All right. And if you only do a few movements, that's fine. All right. Please stop. For many of us, we may have back pain or hip joint pain, but in fact, the difficulty has nothing to do with our hip joints, and everything to do with the way our eyes are inhibiting that movement of our pelvis. Now, take your right knee with your right hand. Good. And now follow your right knee with your eyes while you, excuse me, turn your head and eyes to the left. Let's say it again. Your knee goes to the right. Your head goes to the right, but your eyes go to the left. Now do the opposite. Take your eyes to the right. That's it. And take your head to the left. There are so many variations that are possible. Please rest a moment. With these highly differentiated movements, we don't really need to repeat them many times because they are so stimulating to our brain that it just takes a few repetitions to attract our attention. Take your left hand with your left knee, and now slowly, slowly. How about this time you take your head and eyes, no, your knee to the left and your head and eyes to the right. And you'll see that these movements, these particular movements that we're doing right now, will have a very pleasing and interesting effect on our neck. You feel that? Good. And your task is to keep feeling where you can do less. Where you can do less. That's it. And now allow everything to go to the left easily. In other words, your eyes. Good. your shoulder. And now, as you take your left knee to the left, please take your tongue to the right. In other words, you open your mouth a little bit and you take the tip of your tongue to the right. That's it. As you exhale, it's actually a very pleasant lengthening that's happening. All right, please rest. Of course, we could be doing more movements if we wanted, but it's not necessary. We only need to do enough movements that our brain is attracted to what we're doing. Take your right knee, bend both knees, take your right knee. Good. And slowly take your right knee to the right and your head and eyes to the left. Can you feel something? Something is lengthening in the base of your neck. And now move your tongue. Move your head and your tongue to the right a few times. That's it. But sticking out your tongue doesn't mean that you have to hold your breath. Good. And now do something very tricky. You have to do it consciously, which is as your right knee goes to the right, take your tongue to the left. Good. And your left foot, your left heel. Do you know why I bring your attention to your left heel? That's it. Beautiful. Please stop for a moment. Please bend your knees. And take your left knee with your left hand and your right knee with your right hand. Good. And slowly letting your knees come way apart. Take your right knee to the right. That's it. And then once you come to your limit of ease, you take your left knee to the left. And of course you find, oh, yes, it's a little easier if I take my head and eyes to the right and I take my head and eyes to the left. These most basic fundamental movements of ourselves often become disorganized. That's right. Your left knee to the left, and maybe your right hand, the distance between your right hand and your left hand increases. That's it. Can you feel that your entire spine is moving together in a very pleasant way? All right, please rest. Again, please take your right knee with your right hand, your left knee with your left hand, and slowly take your head to the right as your knees go to the left, and turn your head to the left as you take your knees to the right. That's it. So your head and eyes are moving in the opposite direction. Very nice. Can you let your knees, or allow your knees, a better word, can you allow your knees to come more apart? That's it. Oh, and some people are taking their head in the opposite direction. Go ahead. Try taking your head in the opposite direction of your knees and pelvis. If you have a history of back pain, maybe you want to do a little less, but just what's easy. That's right. All right. Please rest a moment. Would you say that your back, your spine, feels more in contact with the floor or less in contact with the floor? That's a simple distinction to make. It's extraordinary how the most fundamental patterns, entrenched patterns in our nervous system, are able to change. Please bend your knees. With your right hand, take your right knee. With your left hand, take your left knee. That's right. And now lift your chin a little bit toward, not away from the floor, but toward the floor, toward the ceiling, so that the back of your neck is arched. So you don't lift your head off the floor, but you tilt your head as if you wanted to look at something that's above you. And now continue to take your right knee to the right and your left knee to the left, while keeping that arch in your neck. That's it. That arch in your neck is essential for good organization and easy movement. Good. So you feel as if the back of your neck is a little bit more away from the floor than usual. That's it. So you keep your head in the middle, but you also keep it tilted. Very nice. All right. Please stop. and just observe your contact with the floor. Take your left hand to the left knee. Take your right hand to your right knee. That's it. Separate your legs. And now tilt your knees to the left and turn your head and eyes to the right. And tilt your knees to the right and turn your head and eyes to the left. So we're turning our head in the opposite direction of the knees. That's it. Very nice. And soften your chest. Good. Can you move your eyes with your knees? So your head goes in the opposite direction of your knees, but your eyes go in the same direction. Uh-huh. Your eyes go in the same direction as your knees. Mm-hmm. All right. Please rest. Of course, we could have done another 20 or 30 variations, but you feel you have a brain which is infinitely more intelligent than you are. Infinitely more intelligent. You feel? Very slowly bend one knee and then the other. And slowly tilt your knees to the right and slowly come up to sitting. Mm-hmm. That's nice. You can bring, that's right, your hand over your chest. Good. And slowly, you take your time. You come up to sitting, you come up to standing. That's right. Notice, is the contact of your feet with the floor different than when we started? Think how clearly the relationship of your back and your feet to standing, how clearly it's changed. Can you relax your abdomen and your shoulders? Do you think your breathing is different than when we started? Does your breathing feel different? And slowly walk around for a moment and just observe if this way of observing ourselves has changed or improved our relationship to the floor. Good. If you enjoyed today's class, please feel welcome to register for the entire series. And if you have any questions, feel welcome to write to me at communications@feldenkraisaccess.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions. And ordinarily, we'll be doing something additional. Today, we had quite a few minutes taken up with my introduction to those who have not done any lessons ever before. But for the remainder of the 7 classes, we'll be doing an additional supplemental, 4 to 5 minute booster for reliably turning your nervous system from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic state. All right. Thank you very much. Cheers.